the speed demon. Derrick Thomas perfected this archetype with his lightning-quick burst and incredible bend, recording 7 sacks in a single game against Seattle in 1990, still tied for the NFL record. His 4.6 40 speed, combined with his ability to flatten around the corner, made him nearly unblockable on passing downs. Von Miller exemplifies the modern speed demon, using his 4.49 40 speed and exceptional flexibility to consistently beat tackles to the outside. His Super Bowl 50 MVP performance showcased the archetype perfectly, recording 2.5 sacks against Carolina by simply running around their tackles. Speed demons rely on pure acceleration and bend to beat offensive tackles around the edge. Their signature is the speed rush, using explosive first steps and exceptional flexibility to turn the corner before blockers can react. The key to this archetype is the dip and rip technique, where they lower their shoulder and rip their arm through the blocker's hands while maintaining their momentum around the arc. The Power Bull. Reggie White was the ultimate power bull, standing 6'5" and 291 pounds with the strength to bench press 475 pounds. His devastating hump move involved grabbing offensive linemen and literally throwing them aside with his massive hands and upper body strength. White recorded 198 career sacks and was so dominant that teams routinely used 3 blockers to slow him down. His 1987 season with 21 sacks demonstrated how unstoppable a perfect power bull could be. J.J. Watt modernized the archetype by combining elite strength with refined hand technique and football intelligence. At 6'5" and 288 pounds, Watt could bench press 500 plus pounds and used that strength to win 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards. His 2014 season with 20.5 sacks showed how a modern power bull could dominate through strength while also defending the run and even catching touchdown passes on offense. Power bulls use brute strength to overpower offensive linemen through the chest, driving them backward into the quarterback's lap. Their signature technique is the bull rush, getting their hands inside the blocker's chest, sinking their hips, and generating forward momentum through leg drive and core strength. This archetype relies on hand placement, leverage, and raw power rather than finesse or speed. The most effective power bulls combine their strength with subtle hand techniques to disengage from blocks once they've driven blockers backward. The technical master. Dwight Freeney's spin move was so refined that everyone in the stadium knew it was coming, but tackles still couldn't stop it. He perfected the timing of setting up his outside rush before spinning back inside, using his low center of gravity and exceptional balance to maintain momentum through the turn. Freeney recorded 125.5 career sacks and was particularly deadly on third downs, where his spin move became unstoppable. His Super Bowl 41 performance, playing on a torn plantar fascia, showed how technical precision could overcome physical limitations. Richard Dent exemplified the multi-move technical master, seamlessly transitioning between spin moves, rip techniques, and swim moves to keep blockers off balance. His 17 sacks during the Bears' legendary 1985 season demonstrated perfect technical execution, and his Super Bowl 20 MVP performance showcased how technique could dominate on the biggest stage. Technical masters win with precision, timing, and perfected pass rush moves rather than raw athleticism. They study film obsessively, understanding offensive line tendencies and developing multiple moves that keep blockers guessing. The founding of this archetype is hand technique, the ability to strike first, control the blocker's hands, and execute multiple moves seamlessly within a single rush. Technical masters often have the longest careers because technique doesn't diminish with age like speed and strength. The physical freak. Julius Peppers at 6'7" and 287 pounds could run a 4.68 40 and jump 32 inches vertically, measurements that defied physics for someone his size. He also played basketball in North Carolina, giving him exceptional body control and spatial awareness. Peppers recorded 159.5 career sacks over 17 seasons, showcasing the longevity possible when freakish athleticism is combined with proper conditioning and evolving technique. His ability to bat down passes, rush from multiple positions, and even play some linebacker demonstrated the versatility that physical freaks bring. Myles Garrett combines elite strength with a 4.64 speed at 272 pounds, making him unblockable one-on-one when he's technically sound. His 41-inch vertical jump and 33 bench press reps at the combine showed measurements that belong to a linebacker, not a defensive end. Garrett's 2023 Defensive Player of the Year season demonstrated how modern physical freaks can dominate when they marry their athleticism with refined technique and football intelligence. Physical freaks possess rare combinations of size, speed, and athleticism that shouldn't exist in nature. They're matchup nightmares because they have the speed to beat power blockers around the edge and the size to overpower speed blockers through the chest. This archetype often relies too heavily on athleticism early in their careers, but becomes unstoppable once they develop fundamental techniques to complement their physical gifts. The key is learning to use their unique physical attributes strategically rather than randomly. The undersized motor. James Harrison epitomizes this archetype, an undrafted free agent at 6 foot and 242 pounds who was cut by the Steelers multiple times before becoming a superstar. Harrison won Defensive Player of the Year in 2008 with 16 sacks by outworking bigger, more athletic players every single day. His legendary training regimen and film study became the stuff of NFL legend, showing how preparation and effort could overcome physical limitations. His 100-yard interception return touchdown in Super Bowl 43 remains one of the greatest defensive plays in NFL history. Robert Mathis, at 6'2 and 245 pounds, was considered too small to be an effective NFL pass rusher, but he proved doubters wrong by recording 123 career sacks over 14 seasons. His peak came at age 32 when he led the NFL with 19.5 sacks, demonstrating how technique and intelligence could extend careers. Mathis perfected his speed to power conversion and worked seamlessly with Dwight Freeney to create one of the most effective pass rushing tandems in NFL history. Undersized motors overcome physical limitations through relentless effort, superior technique, and football intelligence. They're typically considered too small for the NFL, but prove doubters wrong through sheer determination and perfect preparation. This archetype succeeds by maximizing every physical advantage they have while eliminating any wasted motion or energy. They often become the emotional leaders of their defense because teammates respect their work ethic and refuse to be outworked. The versatile weapon. Micah Parsons revolutionized the position by seamlessly transitioning between linebacker and edge rusher within the same play. His rookie season with 13 sacks while also covering receivers and defending runs showcased the modern evolution of the archetype. Parsons can line up over the center as a blitzer, drop into deep coverage against tight ends, or rush from the edge with equal effectiveness. His versatility forces offensive coordinators to game plan for multiple players when it's really just one. Kevin Green played multiple positions throughout his career, recording 160 career sacks while also defending passes and covering tight ends. At 6'3 and 247 pounds, he had the speed to rush from the edge and the intelligence to play linebacker in coverage. His ability to line up anywhere on the defense made him unpredictable and difficult to block consistently. Green's longevity, playing until age 37, demonstrated how versatility could extend careers by providing multiple ways to contribute. Versatile weapons can rush from multiple positions, drop into coverage, and defend the run equally well. They're defensive coordinators' dreams because they create mismatches and confusion for offensive coordinators who can't predict their alignment or assignment. This archetype requires exceptional football IQ to master multiple roles and the athleticism to excel in different positions within the same game. The most effective versatile weapons make offenses account for them in every situation, not just obvious passing downs. The veteran craftsman. Bruce Smith played 19 seasons by learning new moves and maintaining elite conditioning well into his late 30s. He recorded 200 career sacks, still the NFL record, by constantly evolving his approach. Early in his career, Smith relied more on speed and power, but later developed sophisticated hand techniques and learned to read offensive line tendencies that allowed him to anticipate snap counts and blocking schemes. His ability to generate 10-plus sacks in his age 37 season showed how intelligence and preparation could overcome declining athleticism. Jason Taylor played until age 37 by developing his pass coverage skills and perfecting his hand technique. he recorded 139.5 career sacks, while also intercepting 9 passes and scoring multiple defensive touchdowns. Taylor's length allowed him to bat down passes even when he couldn't reach the quarterback, and his intelligence helped him understand route concepts well enough to drop into coverage effectively. His 2006 Defensive Player of the Year award at age 32 demonstrated peak veteran craftsman performance. Veteran craftsmen extend their careers through intelligence, conditioning, and constantly evolving their games. They adapt their techniques as their athleticism declines, often becoming more effective through experience and understanding. This archetype succeeds by reading offensive tendencies, perfecting their timing, and using their reputation to create advantages. The best veteran craftsmen reinvent themselves multiple times throughout their careers, finding new ways to be effective as their bodies change. The one-move wonder. Jared Allen's speed-to-power conversion was his calling card throughout his career, helping him record 136 career sacks and tied the single-season record with 22 in 2011. Allen would set up tackles with an outside speed rush before converting to power and driving them backward into the quarterback. His rope-the-calf celebration after sacks became iconic, but it was his relentless perfection of his signature move that made him elite. Allen's technique was so refined that he could execute it effectively even when tackles knew exactly what was coming. One-move wonders perfect a single technique to such a degree that everyone knows it's coming but still can't stop it. They build their entire pass rush arsenal around one devastating move, spending thousands of hours perfecting the timing, technique, and setup required to make it unstoppable. The disruptor. Lawrence Taylor changed the entire fabric of offensive football. Teams had to account for his presence on every play, leading to the creation of modern pass protection schemes and the evolution of the H-back position. Taylor's 142 career sacks tell only part of his story. His true impact came from forcing offenses to dedicate extra blockers to him, creating opportunities for his teammates to make plays. His 1986 MVP season showed how a disruptor could single-handedly change games through their mere presence on the field. Deacon Jones coined the term sack and forced the NFL to ban his signature head slap technique because it was too effective. His 173.5 unofficial career sacks made him the original pass rusher superstar, but his real impact came from establishing the template for modern edge rushing. Jones showed that a single player could dominate games through pass rush, leading to the evolution of offensive line techniques and protection schemes that are still used today. Disruptors don't always lead in sacks, but create chaos that makes everyone around them better. They draw double teams, tip passes, and force quick throws that benefit their teammates. These players transcend statistics by fundamentally altering how offenses operate, often making average players around them look elite. The late bloomer. DeMarcus Ware didn't record double-digit sacks until his third season, but then became one of the most dominant pass rushers of his era. His breakout came when he perfected his speed-to-power technique and learned to set up his moves with subtle fakes and changes of pace. Ware went on to record 4 consecutive seasons with 15-plus sacks and finished with 138.5 career sacks, showing how patience and development could create elite production. Cameron Jordan needed several seasons to develop his hand technique and understand how to use his length effectively. But once he figured it out, he became one of the most consistent pass rushers in the NFL. His 8 Pro Bowl selections came after he learned to vary his rush angles and perfect his timing, demonstrating how late bloomers often have sustained success once they reach their potential. Late bloomers take time to develop, but become elite once they figure out their technique and role. They often enter the league with raw talent, but lack the refinement needed for immediate success. This archetype requires patience from coaches and organizations, but often has the longest periods of sustained excellence once they reach their peak. Late bloomers succeed by constantly improving their technique and understanding of the game, showing that development doesn't stop after college. The situation specialist. Terrell Suggs mastered the art of situational pass rushing, recording 139 career sacks while also being effective in coverage and run defense when needed. His understanding of down and distance allowed him to anticipate when he'd have pure pass rush opportunities, and he'd saved his best moves for those moments. Suggs was particularly deadly on third and long situations, where he could use his full arsenal of pass rush techniques without worrying about run responsibilities. Michael Strahan became unstoppable in obvious passing situations, using his length and technique to set the single-season sack record. His understanding of game situations allowed him to know when tackles would be in pure pass protection mode, and he'd adjust his rush accordingly. Strahan's 22.5 sack season came largely from dominating in predictable passing situations, where he could use his best moves without constraint. Situation specialists excel in specific down and distance scenarios, particularly third down pass rushing situations. They may not be every down players, but become elite in obvious passing situations where they can pin their ears back and rush the passer. This archetype understands game situations, leverage, and the psychology of pass rushing, making their biggest impact when offenses are most predictable. The scheme fit. TJ Watt thrives in Pittsburgh's zone blitz system that allows him to rush from multiple angles and positions while also dropping into coverage. His 22.5 sack season in 2021 came from perfectly executing his role within the Steelers' defensive scheme, using their complex blitz packages to create favorable one-on-one matchups. Watt's versatility fits perfectly with Pittsburgh's defensive philosophy of creating confusion and unpredictability. Nick Bosa is perfectly suited for San Francisco's wide nine technique that maximizes his hand technique and leverage advantages. The 49ers system allows Bosa to use his technical precision to win with timing and placement rather than relying on pure athleticism. His success comes from perfect scheme fit combined with exceptional technique, showing how the right system can maximize a player's natural abilities. Scheme fit requires coaches who understand their strengths and limitations and design systems that maximize their abilities. They succeed by perfecting their role within their system rather than trying to be complete players, showing that specialization can be more valuable than versatility when properly utilized. Want to understand the game like the pros do? Subscribe for more breakdowns that'll change how you watch football forever. Drop a comment with your favorite edge rusher archetype, and if you think I missed any legends, let me know. I read every single one. Until next time, keep studying the game.